So today's question is, how many sessions would you give an anxiety client and a weight loss client? Do you have any advice? So how many sessions would I give for an anxiety or a weight loss client? Yeah, so good question. So it's impossible to say. And what's the best way I can explain this? It all depends a lot on your skill set, depends on the type of therapy and stuff that you do. So that'll become a part of the answer. However, I want you to think of it like this. It is impossible to know beforehand how many sessions it's going to take a client to have their breakthrough until you actually formally start doing the therapy. I've talked about this on a video before. Sometimes we come to a conclusion where we're told by like a guru or a script says so, or technique says it has to be this amount of time, this amount of sessions in order for a client to have a breakthrough. And that's generally not the case. These are just conclusions, and what happens with conclusions, usually when they're incorrect, which most will be, it locks us into a position that it has to be one way, and that's definitely not the truth because everybody's different. So when it comes to figuring out how many sessions is it going to take, like I said, you can't know beforehand. And you've got to realize this as well. Anxiety, weight, stop smoking, which was what I used to help people with, fears, phobias, whatever you can think of as far as what therapy can help. These are just all conclusions. These are symptom problems. So we know that when a client comes in to see us and said they've got anxiety, if you go ahead and get all your anxiety tools, your scripts, your techniques, you're now fixing the symptom. We've got to figure out what exactly is it so we can fix that. This is commonly known as the root cause, which we've talked about before. So if you're 100% sure that your client's, the client's real problem is some sort of anxiety, you just want to start from that place. And you should be able to figure out along the way after a good session or so, how long it's going to actually take. You should know, or you should be looking at all the loose ends that a session should have, all the symptom things that the session will have, all the real core problems, knowing that root cause problems don't just come in one, they usually come in many. And you want to try and essentially get everything done as quickly as possible. You've got to realize this, and I've talked about this before, clients are pretty time poor and clients are lazy. And your clients don't want to spend all this amount of times on multiple sessions and multiple hours over like multiple weekends if you can get a result as quickly as possible. So you should be aiming to get your clients' results as quickly as possible. So instead of looking at how many sessions, start thinking about how quickly can I resolve this problem? How quickly can I get to the root cause? How quickly can I have my clients breakthrough? Instead of saying, well, my guru said it will take 3 sessions, I'm going to stick to the 3-session model. Like I said, that's just a conclusion that your mentor has given you. That's just a guess. It's impossible to categorize everybody like it's going to take X amount of time. So there's nothing wrong with the question. I just think your thinking needs to be changed. And you want to start thinking, like I said, in terms of how quickly can I get this done instead of how many sessions would I give? Because let's say, for example, alongside in the business, let's say you're selling like a 5-pack, which is pretty typical in this industry. And let's say your client has a complete breakthrough. You've done all the testing, all the loose ends are sorted, everything's been great, massive breakthroughs after like the 2nd session. Well, then what do? You have to give your client those other 3 sessions, even though they don't need it, because that's what they've paid for. So when it comes to the business, you want to be selling results. You want to be selling quick results. And it's better for you economically and by the maths of your business to get results as quickly as possible. Because even when we look at the prices of your services, sure, you might get paid up front for the result. Let's say you get paid, I don't know, $500 or something like that. The longer it takes for your client to have a breakthrough, the more you have to distribute that cost over longer periods of time. So the longer it takes you, the less you're actually going to start paying yourself. So we talk about this in my 100K coaching program. We talk about it in terms of something called MOS, minimum optimum service. So while every other therapist and coach is adding things to their session, they're selling more hours, more sessions, more packages, more books, more audios, and all that more stuff, realizing that a client's now going to be overwhelmed with how much they have to actually do. We do the opposite. We teach our students to have extremely high prices and to get their results as quickly as possible. So instead of worrying about sessions, you want to try and get things done with the quickest amount of speed, obviously not cutting corners and make sure they get a breakthrough, but getting your results as quickly as possible, because that's what clients are paying for. Don't sell them sessions or hours. So like I mentioned, your question's good. Just change the thinking, which is instead of worrying about how many sessions, regardless of the problem, remember weight loss, anxiety, stop smoking, that's all a symptom. So it doesn't really matter. Get your results as quickly as possible because that's what clients will pay more for. And then you'll actually be able to figure out quicker ways for your further clients and your future clients to have breakthroughs. Thus, it's going to be better for your reputation. better for their results, but also better for the income of your business as well. So it's a win-win for everybody. So focus on speed instead of sessions.